Hi everyone, and welcome to day 6 of the 12 Mindful Days of Christmas Challenge. I'm Jillian again at gRow, the home of mindful self-care for moms. First of all, it's day 6. I want to check in. How are you doing so far with the challenge? What was your intention that you set in the beginning, and how is that coming through so far? Like, what was the feeling that you wanted to have at Christmas, and how could you make that feeling even more amplified right now? In this moment while you are watching this video, like, what could you do in this moment to feel how you want to feel? Make a conscious choice. That's a fun one. How's your meditating coming along? Have you been doing that and getting it done? If you have wonderful work. If you haven't, then you suck. Just kidding. You don't suck. You know what? Be gentle with yourself. All of this is new stuff, and if you're doing anything, then you're doing yourself and actually your family and all of your friends an incredible service. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the practice of today, the mindfulness practice for today, is called reframing. So reframing is actually a cognitive skill, all about like reducing a threat response to your brain. But I'm not going to go into neuroscience in this program. So when it comes to Christmas, there can definitely be like challenging moments. For sure. There's lots of stuff going on, lots of ways that people can get stressed out. I remember last year we left Zosha's Christmas party, the festival thing that they have, the big carol, and I'm an introvert. So too many hours sitting with like a bunch of people and lots of activity is really overwhelming. So it was the end of the concert and I was carrying Zosha out. She was all sugared out and kind of gross, and I was getting her into the car and she barfed down my dress. So that kind of sucked, like tired, overwhelmed, overstimulated, and I've got barf running down my dress. Not good. And then of course, a sick kid, now you're stressed out, worried that your daughter has like something horrible, which actually it turned out to be Norwalk. So that's a good time. That was fun. So there can be challenging moments that happen during the holidays, just like any time in your life. So the practice for today, the mindfulness, is all about learning how, when you're mindful, learning that you can reframe any challenging experience that comes up to feel a bit better. So I just want to take like a quick diversion for a second. I am not an advocate for skipping feelings. In fact, the exact opposite. It's so incredibly unhealthy for your body and for your mind and your spirit to avoid or push away emotions when they come up. It's just not good for you. So I work a lot with my clients on feeling your emotions in a really healthy way. So like noticing when you're having an emotion, labeling what it is, and then giving it a little bit of space to feel what it is, and then breathing and calming down so that you can get back into the higher functioning part of your brain and your being. So don't skip over your feelings. Feel them. However, once you've had an emotion come up and kind of do its wave, or even in the moment, once you get skilled at this, you can actually practice reframing the situation to choose how you want to feel. So, for example, let's say that I'm driving home in the car and I finished some Christmas shopping, or I was coming from an event, and some guy cuts me off in traffic. So without a doubt, I know this about myself, my default when that happens, the default story that my brain creates is, that guy did that on purpose, that was totally intentional, what a jerk, I'm so pissed off. That's my default. Without even thinking, that's where my brain goes. That's the pathway that's been created. So I give a little bit of space for anger and say, okay, I'm feeling angry. What does that feel like? What's happening in my body? Okay. Now that I'm calm and breathing, what's another way to look at it? So this is where the mindfulness piece comes in. It's like, what else is true? Well, the only fact in this story is that some guy cut into my lane in traffic and cut me off. Everything else that I create, the meaning, the assumptions, the story around that, is all my own responsibility and my brain that's doing that. So I can create a new one. So another thing that could be true would be, well, he didn't see me. Maybe it was a mistake or an accident. Maybe he was rushing off somewhere to go help somebody to do something. Maybe he sneezed. Like, there's a million other ways to look at almost every situation to feel better and to take the charge out of it. And when you're mindful to your default, then you can choose and see what else is true to reframe something to feel better. Your thoughts create your feelings. So when you're conscious of your thoughts and when you have the mindfulness to actually choose your thoughts, you actually get to choose how you feel. And that's like the greatest gift ever. So the exercise for today is just to notice when challenging things come up, what's your default story? Just notice what the default story is, and then once you breathe through and kind of calm down, what's another way to look at it? how could you change that to feel a bit better?